Hello, bonjour, good afternoon, welcome, bienvenue, and welcome to COWS and the Royal Ocean Racing Club Clubhouse, where we now find ourselves less than 24 hours away from the centenary edition of the Rolex Fastnet race. So if you think about it, this time tomorrow, 3,000 sailors on around 450 different boats of every possible shape and size will have already left the starting line and have begun their epic adventure. Now, we are very lucky this afternoon. We have some of those who will be competing alongside us today, and I'll be chatting to them in just a moment. And I'll also be asking some of the press who have gathered here to ask some questions as well. And for you at home, wherever you are watching in the world, you can leave your question on the live stream right now, and we'll certainly leave time to put them to our sailors today. We have our panel ready and waiting. A group that I know are much more comfortable on the water than they are sat on a stool in front of a camera talking to me, and we'll meet them in just a few minutes. But later on we are going to be joined by Tristan de Bron, who is Line Honour's favourite, Ian Holoman, skipper of the oldest boat in the fleet, Rourke Rear Commodore Joe Lacey taking on the Fastnet on his brand new Pogo RC, Nicole Hemrick of Rourke Griffin, the initiative inspiring the next generation of sailors, Richard Matthews, who I think it's fair to say anyone who knows him knows he knows a thing or two about this race, Yiğit Orlu, skipper of what we believe to be the first all-Turkish crew in the history of this race. And last but not least, 2025 two-handed IRC national champion Tim Goodhue, sailing once again with Kevin Matthews. What a group. And in just a moment, we will be hearing from Tom Leperche, a skipper of the Ultim SVR Lazartigue and current Multihull Line Honours record holder, and his new teammate, sailing star Peter Burling. But joining us on the stage this afternoon, please welcome Adrian Stead, who really needs no introduction at this point, tactician on the 2023 overall winner of the Rolex Fastnet race, Caro. And it has been a very busy week for Adrian and the Caro crew already, taking part in the Admiral's Cup. We'll be listening in to that. Linda Goddard is the skipper of Bedouin in IRC1. Sailing alongside her 4 children. We'll definitely have to ask you about that. Next, one of Britain's most celebrated multi-hull sailors with multiple world records and milestone achievements to his name, Brian Thompson, sailing on the Mod 70 Argo. All the way from Sydney, Australia, David Griffith has already put a mile in to his Udall Rolex 52. It's Whisper. A real IRC0 contender this year with a great deal of experience to bring here, travelling all the way from Sydney for his first Rolex Fastnet race. And for the team on Trojan, represented by first mate Rich Lawrence, the Fastnet, of course, in the DNA of this club, the Royal Engineer Yacht Club, who have taken part in every single edition from its inception. And pioneering British solo offshore sailor Pip Pear, good afternoon to you, sailing on a new 4-liner Mocha for this edition, Scott Shoyer's Canada Ocean Racing. Welcome, thank you very much, lovely to have you all here. Adrian, of course, I will start with you. We will go back, I would say, to 2023, and just to share a little bit of your experience with that and your win there. What lessons do you think you've learned from that race that you're going to bring here to the race tomorrow?
I think 2023 race was pretty brutal for the first 12 hours, 18 hours. And it's certainly the preparation that the team did was pretty key to making sure that nothing broke and you were able to survive and then race the boat for the rest of the race. I think this race definitely looks a bit more moderate. It's, if you like, a 350 mile Windward Wood race to Fastnet and back. So it's going to be attritional, it's going to be hard work, and probably plenty of tacking, plenty of keeping the boat going.
Yeah, I mean, can you tell me about some of those memories? We haven't really reflected on the difference, and yet it's the thing that most of us have been talking about. Certainly the weather. I mean, it was remarkable, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, we've identified about 12 boats that we thought were potential handicap winners, and I think by the time we got to Lyme Bay, there were 6 of them had disappeared through damage or retirements. Certainly past Portland last year, 2 years ago, we had, I think, we lost the wind gear pretty early on. So, but we thought we had 40 to 45 knots of breeze and 3 knots of current under us, so pretty intensive seaway. We had all the crew in the cockpit rather than hiking out to slow the boat down, and one of the unlucky people had to drive, and every now and again you'd launch the boat off a wave and wonder what was going to happen next. So, but we got through it. We sailed for 3 nights, 3 days without wind stuff, and had a fantastic blast back from the Fastnet all the way to Cherbourg.
It was so impressive, and obviously overall winner. I mean, it was such a moment, that race. Who could forget it? But this year too, you've got the added pressure, obviously, of the Admiral's Cup, which is, I think, it's just to be a part of something so special, to be part of that revival. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. The fact that we've got 15 teams here all vying for the Admiral's Cup again after 22 odd years, it's fantastic to see. Everyone's putting so much effort into winning that, and we start the Fastnet knowing that it's the Fastnet result counts for 3 times the weighting. So we've underperformed as a boat in the Admiral's Cup so far, and we're looking to put that right in the Fastnet race and get a really good score for our team. And who knows?
Who knows? Only you, I think, at this point. Linda Goddard, we'll move to you next, because you're skippering Bedouin, and I mentioned it earlier, with your 4 children on board. And I say children, I mean, you're age 15 to 23, but still, I mean, you've got to have a very special sort of relationship to be able to man that crew.
Well, we've been sailing every Northern Hemisphere summer for the last 5 years since we've had Bedouin, and so they're very accustomed to the sailing, the cruising, and now the racing. So they're getting into the swing of things, and so I think they're ready for a race like this.
You obviously are so experienced as an individual, but how does that change the dynamic on board? Both emotionally and practically during a race.
It doesn't change really. In terms of preparing and the getting through the race with you all need the endurance, you need the resilience, and with the kid, do you mean with the kids?
Yeah. But with your family, a lot of people, and it's similar whether you're on a boat, whether you're in a work situation. With family, it's often very different dynamic.
Look, they have to understand this is every man for himself on the boat. So if they don't step up, they're going to be pushed aside on a race. You can't start saying, "Mummy, I need to do this. Mummy, I need to do that." And they're on the watches. They're 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours standby. And if they're not on watch, then they're the ones who they won't come again. Put it that way.
I like that. Skipper first, parent next. That's good. I like it. But look, what are your expectations then this year with Bedouin in the Fastnet? I mean, for you, is this about competition? Is it about experience, legacy?
It's about the experience. It's about doing these bucket list races. We've done quite a few through the Mediterranean, so we're getting a little bit into deep water now, getting out of the Med, and experiencing some of the rougher seas and more unpredictable weather. So it's that part of it. It's doing another offshore race with incredibly competitive boats in a landmark 100th anniversary edition of the Rolex Fastnet, which we're really excited to do. And it's always, whenever we do one of these offshore races, the kids learn so much in terms of, everyone's tired, everyone's, you could be seasick, you could be, you don't know what your physical side is going to be, but they still have to go on with the endurance and the resilience in order to get through the race. So every race, I think, everyone learns a lot getting through it.
Brian, with you are someone who has, a career that spanned over 2 decades now, a wealth of experience. You are no stranger, I think it's fair to say, to pushing high-performance multi-hulls to their absolute limits. What excites you the most about Argo at this year's Fastnet?
Well, this year's Rolex Fastnet is going to be a real classic, I think. A real race rather than a survival contest like it's been the last 2 times. And we've got the best multi-hull fleet there's ever been with 34 boats on the start line, 4 Ultims, 9 Ocean 50s, which are very high performance 50 boats, and then we have another Mod 70 called Zulu that's going to come over from Cherbourg before the start, and we've been racing them so closely for the last 2 years, and we're never more than about 3 minutes apart, even after a 600-mile race. And then there's the big handicap fleet of Mokra boats, which are 20 strong. So we're going to be aiming to race Zulu as hard as we can, and hope to just pit them, but we know it's going to be close. And then we're going to be pushing ourselves super hard, and hopefully that will allow us to get a good result within the Mokra fleet as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think it is going to be a really competitive year, and obviously the Mod 70s, they are so famously fast, so famously unforgiving. What's your mindset then at the very start of this? I feel like you're not giving much away right now, but when you start this race, you know, this is a race where the tiniest mistakes can have huge consequences. Where is your head at?
Well, I think I mentioned there's so many boats on the start line, so we have to have a safe, clean start. So you could lose a race in the first 5 minutes by being over, and then would have a 2-hour penalty, or if we foul another boat or have a collision, and there'll be all this. We'll be the first start, so there'll be a lot of other boats milling about. Hopefully they're in their start boxes, but it's inevitable that it'll be quite tight at the start. So have a safe start, have a decent start, get going, and then as we get towards the needles, the wind will pick up. We'll probably have to change sails, get the right timing for that. So we're thinking about that, and then our tactics past St Albans Ledge, Portland Bill, Lyme Bay will be very interesting for the multi-hulls, and then hopefully by near midnight we'll be getting towards the Scilly Islands.
The thing that people, I think, really enjoy about the Fastnet, you know, it is the range. It is the range of the boats and the different tactics and styles that keep it interesting. And for you, I mean, you've experienced all sorts, but what keeps drawing you back then to the multi-hulls like Argo for a race like this?
Oh, the Mod 70 is such a fantastic boat, really bulletproof, beautiful to sail, and then the competition's just always getting better. Zulu and us are both pushing each other more and more all the time, and there's more good boats coming, and sailing with the old teams will be fantastic. We can just sort of hang on to them till the needles. That will make a great race out of the Solent, and then after that they'll be stretching their legs, and we might not see them again. But no, I absolutely love sailing the multi-hulls. They're so satisfying, very exciting, and I don't think it'll be a record-breaking year, but it's going to be a fast race, and we hope to be finished in about 2 days. So Monday, not croissant, but maybe Monday lunch.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like the confidence here.
Yeah.
And David Griffith, who's listening to this, skipper of Whisper, and you've come all the way from Sydney, as I mentioned, a serious IRC0 contender. A lot of people who think that this could be one to watch if the conditions, of course, play ball. What's your focus then heading into the race this year?
Oh, thanks, Holly. Our focus, get round safely. This is a very complex race. We've been getting some wonderful advice from all the weather gurus, and tide and winds, and there's so many decision points in this race. So I think there's opportunities to jag one and take a bit of a step up on the fleet, or the opposite. But we've got a group of about 19 in our Class 0, IRC 0, and some very good boats in there. Richard's telling me about his new oyster catcher, and it's a pretty hot machine, I understand. So we've got a core of a few really interesting things. Our division is our main focus. Of course, if you do well in your division, you've got a chance to do well overall.
And in terms of trying to prepare for this, I suppose one of the biggest challenges for a boat like Whisper, it's kind of looking at the combination of those tight inshore starts and the long offshore legs. And this is your first time doing the Fastnet race, of course. What's your biggest concern? What worries you at this point?
Oh, I don't have too many worries. I'm very lucky. I've got the superb crew. So
go on, tell me about the crew then.
We have some wonderful people on board. Billy Merrington's our crew boss and tactician. John Flannery, who's done everything on the hundreds and every other sort of major boat. He's been running the boat for us. Paul Westlake, flipper from North Sails, on board to run the speed loop. And some other Nick Bodewin from Norths and some really top-notch backup helmsmen. The whole team in the pit, the bow, they're fantastic. So it's really a matter of just getting around safely. Everyone will be focused. They're very driven. It's a very good crew. I think it's a team of champions. And no, we're good. We're very good, thanks.
And there's a bit of a competition for the Australians. I mean, there's a trophy to be won here, the Martin Illingworth Trophy. Have you got your eyes on that then?
Well, we've entered a CYC, Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, team into that trophy, which looks interesting. So us, along with Zen and Back to Black, the CYC team. I'm not sure how many other teams are in it right now. There didn't look like to be a lot, but we'd love to win that as a group because we're a very close club and they're all good mates.
Can I ask you about WWF Insignia, which is on the boat? What's the connection there?
So WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, which we support. We've done a few projects, one about trying to reforest part of Sabangau in Borneo, and that project has been very successful. And we're now supporting an oceans project around the coast of Australia where WWF and some other conservation groups are trying to expand the amount of fishing-free zones for protected zones for wildlife.
Very commendable, and good luck tomorrow. And Rich Lawrence, I mean, you are representing the Royal Engineer Yacht Club. The history that comes with that. You don't need me to remind you. I mean, this is a club that has raced in every single Fastnet race since inception. In fact, for those who don't know, they finished second in the first ever edition of it back in 1925. Does that come with added pressure?
So there's an element of pressure in that we need to make sure we've crossed the start line at least, so therefore we maintain that streak. I think there's acknowledgement that we're not going to be coming second as Fulmar did in 1925, or even as Ilex in 1926 did, winning it. However, for us, it's all about just getting across, and the skills and things that you're taught through offshore racing are so compatible with military life. It's really a great thing for people to do.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, because obviously there's such a long tradition of military-led sailing teams. How does that influence then the way Trojan or any other ship for that matter is run? What influence does that have?
So it means that often actually the crews are changing from race to race. Actually, I'm quite lucky, and I've actually managed to sail with every single person we're sailing in the Fastnet, which is not something you can always expect. I think we've had about 4 different skippers across the course of this year. But with Ollie Dalzell sitting in the audience, who's skippering the Fastnet. I know that all the service boats have similar issues in the pace of operations means that often you are struggling to get a crew together sometimes. But for us, it's often just the focus of getting out on the water is the main thing, and introducing people to sailing and offshore racing.
But there has to be a bit of rivalry between any of the military-run boats, isn't there?
Most definitely. And I know we've got eyes on Glad Eye, White Knight, Red Arrow, some of the other boats that are out there. We were quite lucky in that the Cherbourg race, we managed to actually come top service boat, which gave us a degree of bragging rights. We'll see how we do in the next week or so. Yeah,
you will see how you do. What are you expecting then? What's your hopes? What are you expecting from the course this year?
I've been hearing people saying they're hoping to be at the Scilly Isles by midnight. Would be nice for us. I think it'll be midnight about 2 days later. For us, it's mainly about getting around safely and securely and enjoying the race.
I like that, keeping it realistic. Pipere, I think from you, I reckon you're going to have much higher expectations then. How are you feeling right now? Someone with your level of experience in this race.
Well, as a team, we're pretty excited. So we're quite a new team, Canada Ocean Racing. We've got the skipper of Canada Ocean Racing, Scott Schroyer, just sitting there. So they've been around for quite a while, but Scott's been focused on the short-handed sailing, and this year we've come together as a full crew, and we've only had the boat for 2 months. And this is our first race, so everyone's pretty excited. But also interesting, the forecast for us is a good forecast because it means there's a lot of opportunity to kind of come together with the rest of the fleet, to learn, to understand a bit more about our pace. But it is our first race. So I would say a lot to learn, and we're pretty excited by what lies ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned there, obviously you competed in 2023, when it was a 2-person on board rule. Now you're up to 4, as you said. How does that change the dynamic then? What impact does that have technically?
Well, we've actually got 5 on board because we've got an onboard reporter as well, which is a lot of people. And we're Team B Water Positive is a boat that was specifically designed for 4 crew, so the cockpit's much bigger, which means we actually have a bit more room, but it's still a lot of people. And I'm loving the transition into racing these boats with a crew because it's just kind of everything maxed up, all brains coming together. We're really pushing the boat hard. We're not backing off. We're able to make changes a lot quicker. You've got to kind of dance around each other. There's definitely a bit of choreography, and you've got to keep talking to each other, which is very important. But it's good. It's a great collaboration, and you go faster, which is better.
Faster is better. I think everyone in this room would agree with that. And like the IMOCA fleet in particular is highly competitive this year. How do you plan then to position yourself tactically in those early stages in the Solent?
So I think kind of coming out of the Solent, certainly for the IMOCAs, it's not our favourite place to be. You run out of room quite quickly, and we've got these big flappy things sticking out the side of the boat. We want to keep safe more than anything, staying out of the Solent. And I think the other thing, especially on the current forecast, I think the boats behind us are going to catch us up quite quickly. It's important for us. It looks like as soon as we left the Needles, then we're going to all be trying to stretch our legs, and so we definitely want to be in contact with the top boats to make sure kind of we're close enough to be speed matching them and just developing further. So it's kind of just making sure we're in the good pack. Exiting the Solent is going to be pretty important.
I get the sense you're enjoying being part of a crew, but individually, obviously, what you've achieved, one of only 8 women to ever have completed the Vendée Globe race. I mean, for you, how do you stay motivated when you're looking for a new challenge, when you're looking for something else to do? What is it that keeps Pip going?
Well, it's just sailing, isn't it? I mean, I find sailing the most fascinating sport because, as you said in the beginning, there's a huge range and breadth to it. You're never going to know everything about it. You're never going to have seen every condition. You're never going to have sailed every boat. There's always a way to go faster. There's always incrementally something you can do for marginal gains. And it's just so open to improvement, personal improvement, design improvement, technological improvement. I just love the open-endedness of the sport, and I just think it's always going to feed my soul, without a doubt.
I love that. I love the passion of that. First of all, we're going to put some questions to the floor now, but please, for the moment, give our panel a massive round of applause. So we do have some members of the press here. If you do have a question, let's get a microphone to you. Please raise your hand if you've got a question for our panel here this afternoon. There we go. I'm making you do a little bit of a jog across the room. So if you'd like to introduce yourself first of all and tell us what your question
Mr.
is.
Gladwell from Sailworld, New Zealand. For Adrian, how hard was this boat and team to put together, given what's happening in New Zealand and the fact the boats are coming from here, and also this is the first revival of the Admiral's Cup. What about the other trophies that are sitting out there that are largely defunct, like the Clipper Cup and Sardinia Cup? You going to be able to do the same thing with that?
So your first question with Caro, and the current Caro sailing team's been together for 4 or 5 years now, racing around the world. I joined the team 2 years ago for the Fastnet, but the boat's done the Sydney Hobart for the last 3 years. We had training camp in November last year, and then 15 days of sailing in December, trying to win the Sydney Hobart last year. And then we'd always had in our mind the teammate with Callisto, Jim Murray's Callisto, to represent Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. So we're here. We've done plenty of sailing. There's been Admiral's Cup boats sailing in Cowes since Easter. The sailing's been fantastic and the momentum's been fantastic. And now the combination of that is the Rolex Fastnet race to finish off the series. And it's tight. There's two teams that have done very well: Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club and the Yacht Club of Monaco. The team of Yacht Club Costa Smeralda are close behind. Then us. Then the CYCA. So it's the trophy for me. The Admiral's Cup is still open. It's going to take an extremely strong performance from us, but we know we're capable of that. We showed it 2 years ago, and looking at the weather. For the moment, the weather seems like it will suit a 52 style boat or a 40 style boat. It's not probably as favourable for a Volvo 70, so who knows. But first, like the other said, is that our goal is to win our division in the Admiral's Cup fleet, and hopefully that competition within that fleet will be enough to push us up to an overall good score overall for the Fastnet race itself.
What about the other trophies, like the Clipper Cup and those sort of things? Are they intended to be revived as well, or not? Are you aware of anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had quite a lot of conversations with the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda over the last couple of months, and I do believe the Sardinia Cup was announced last week for the first week of June. So, it's a fantastic that team events are coming back to the fore again, and because as David mentioned, the passion of racing for your yacht club with your teammates just gives an extra I don't know, bit of, I grew up seeing Admiral's Cups as a youngster and was lucky to participate in the last couple. Anyway, and it's great to see that back, and it's great to see the enthusiasm amongst the youngsters. Yesterday, the Dutch team with the youth sailors won a race on one of the races. It's brilliant to see, and hopefully that inspires more people to have events like Admiral's Cup and Sardinia Cup and whatever else was there.
Thank you very much. Have we any more questions from the floor? Yes, just over here. We'll pass the mic, pass the conch over. And again, if you could stand up and introduce yourself and ask your question.
Alan Whitewood, Island Echo. Question for Brian. You're expecting a fast passage. What are your victuals likely to be on board?
Well, I think we're going to have some sandwiches to start off with for lunch. Then I think more sandwiches for dinner. And then we've got some freeze-dried. Basically, we don't have any galley at all, any sink. What we've got is one jet boil, matching our lack of toilet. And it's very basic on board. So the only hot meal will be filling up a freeze-dried packet with hot water. And we've got some teas and coffees, snacks. So quite basic, probably like a lot of other boats.
Not like us.
Oh,
go on, and then what have you got?
We've got our head chef who's working in the kitchen right now. We have the
Now
sous
you're
chefs
talking.
who took some time off, but we've got some lasagnas planned. We've got some Italian slow cooked meats. We've got fruit, lots of fruit and vegetables. There's absolutely no dried food on our boat.
we're clearly doing it all wrong.
Yeah, okay, can anyone top that then? I'm not quite sure anyone can top lasagna and fresh fruit on board. No? I mean, that's a next level. See, that's the mum in you. This is what I'm telling you. There is something a little bit different. See, no one else is thinking about that. You're thinking about nutrition at all times. These are the details we didn't know we'd be hearing about today. Thank you so much. Any more questions from the floor at all? But maybe you've got time for one more. Yes, one more very quick question then. And once again, if you stand up if you can and introduce yourself. Stay seated then.
Hi, James Boyd. A question for David. You've obviously done countless Rolex Sydney to Hobart races. What do you expect to be different about the Fastnet race compared to that?
Well, it's interesting because the Sydney to Hobart is a point-to-point race. It can be upwind, downwind, or maybe a bit of both. But as Adrian pointed out, this is a race that's 350 miles upwind and 350 downwind. And so that's quite interesting. And we're looking forward to that because depending on what your boat is, you can either be on a boat that's perfectly suited to just a reaching race, but we like to have our boat's an all-rounder, so we like to mix it up as it will be on this course. And that's what we're really looking forward to, James.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for all your questions, and thank you to our panel for this part, to Adrian, Linda, Brian, David, Rich and Pip. One final round of applause, please. I think that one boat that every eye will be on, the record-breaking, line-honour-taking Ultim SVR Lazartig. Will they be able to hold on to line honours and perhaps even extend their record? Who knows? We'll be watching. But we caught up with its new additions, skipper Tom Laperche and Peter Burling, a little bit earlier.
I'm Tom Laperche, and we are inside the Trimaran SVR Lazartig. As a sailor, the Rolex Fastnet race, I know this race for many years, since I'm very young. So for me it's a mythic race, an English one, and I have special memories for the last edition. We won it with François. The start was something really special. For the first time for me being upwind in the Solent, and I've got very strong memories. We are really enthusiastic to take part in this race and to sail with the crew. And I would like to do just as good this time. We sailed on the SVR Lazartig Multihull, a big Ultim boat. It's 30 meters long, 23 meters large, and the mast is up to 35 meters. And we will be 6 on board, so a crew team, with Franck Camas, with the one I will do the double-ended at the end of the year, the Transat Café l'Or. Antoine Gauthier and Emilien Lavigne, who know very well the boat, they sailed with us for many years. People who join us for this race are Peter Burling and Amélie Grassi.
The Fastnet's awesome yacht race. It's actually my second time competing in it, and yeah, looking forward to do it with an Ultim. The Ultim's been absolutely awesome. We've had a few days to get to know the boat now, so it's been great to see it in a few different conditions and get more comfortable with my role on board. But yeah, still feeling very green compared to the rest of the group, but super excited to get racing in a few days' time.
The race will take around 36 hours, I think, between 24 to 48, 1 to 2 days. We hope to arrive before the night on Sunday evening, but it will mean we are very fast. We should arrive in the night before Monday morning. The maximum speed we've ever done is more than 50 knots, so between 51 to 52 knots. And upwind we often sail around between 20 to 30 knots, and downwind between 30 to 40. I think to have an average speed is between this in this range. We would like to break the record of last year. It means we have very good condition and we go very fast. But main goal is to finish first and in front of the others or Ultim.
And of course, you can catch the start of that course tomorrow from 11:20 right here on Rock's Facebook and YouTube page. We have a brand spanking new paddle now to introduce to you. Please let's welcome along Tristan de Brun, who is skipper of Blackjack 100, the IRC Super Zero contender, who is hotly tipped as one of the favourites to take Multihull line honours. And line honours is something that the classic Stormvogel knows just a thing or two about, taking its way back in 1961. The oldest boat in the fleet this edition, and her skipper Ian Hulleman is with us. From the classic to just out of the box, Rogue Rear Commodore Joe Lacey is co-skipper on the brand new Pogo RC Midnight Blues. And Nicole Hemrick is the skipper for the Roke Griffin boat. The Roke Griffin initiative provides a pathway to the next generation of sailors through a training programme delivered by sailing legends. Although when it comes to experience, very few have more than Richard Matthews, skipper of Oystercatcher 35, this being his 25th Fastnet race at 76 years young, if you don't mind me saying. On the flip side, first time for everything, Yiğit Erlu and his all-Turkish crew will be taking on this epic adventure for the very first time. Welcome to you. And as two-handed racing grows ever more popular in offshore sailing, we are joined this afternoon by 2025 two-handed IRC national champion Tim Goodhue, who's sailing on his Sunfast 3200. Welcome. Lovely to have you all here with us. Tristan, I will start with you. Bienvenue. You are going to be commanding one of the biggest and fastest yachts in the fleet. I mean, big boat, big race. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we are feeling very happy to be here. We did a lot of work this winter to the boat. So it's been a very intense start of the year. We did complete already one race 4 weeks ago in Sweden, Gotland Run. That went well for us, and now 4 weeks later we are here. We prepared very well this week, and yeah, I don't know if we are the favorite. I think we have a lot to prove. We have very strong competition. The 300 footers are slightly different. Each of these boats have different strong points and weak points. And yeah, during this race it's going to be very interesting because the weather conditions are going to fluctuate in a way that each of these boats is going to have strong moments. I think for us the start of the race and the upwind all the way to Fastnet Rock is going to be our challenge. I wouldn't be surprised that the two other 100 footers take a slight lead on us, so we're going to have to fight really hard to stick to them. And after that, so much can happen.
You mentioned the conditions there. I mean, when you compare to 2 years ago, I mean, it's I don't want to say ideal, but I mean, it's much better for a boat like this, which is designed for power, for speed. I mean, what would be the conditions that you're looking for to really unleash the potential here?
So you're going to be surprised by this answer, but with our boat, we are at maximum power in 8 knots of wind. So after 8 knots of true wind speed, we have to depower the boat because yeah, we are at maximum potential. Blackjack is very, very strong in the light air. It's also quite strong in downwind VMG, which is the second half of the race, what we expect at this point. So yeah, that's where we are, and that's what we can do.
So actually, with a boat like this, I mean, much of your race is really won in the sail selection, the route preparation, all that side of things before you've even left the dock.
Yeah, exactly. So every day we obviously look at the weather forecast, and we have a small meeting with Jelmer van Beeks and Max Dekkers, which are the co-skipper and the navigator on board. And this way we try to plan our race ahead. So we have now a pretty well determined plan, and we know which sails we're gonna carry. But the last revision will be tomorrow morning, and just before docking off, we will make a very last call and decision, and then we have no second option anymore.
Well, good luck, good luck. Ian, I'm excited to move to you because, you know, we're talking about the oldest yacht in the fleet this edition. There's history here. Stormvogel, I mean, this is more than just racing.
It's nice to bring an old boat back and have it compete against the modern boats and compete well. So it's quite special.
What's that like personally then? What's it like to take to the helm of such a storied classic, a boat like this, which has so much history?
She prefers a bit more breeze. So 2 years ago it was very good, a bit punishing on the boat, but it's what she's built for. And the light's a bit of a struggle, but no, it's a very special boat. She's interesting to helm. I've had enough time to learn her, and yeah, it takes a bit of time with an old girl. So.
I like that. You've got to show her a little bit of respect here. With that in mind, the preparations must be very different for a classic yacht like this. It's probably a bit more hands-on work for this one.
It's been a year and a half of structural rebuild and varnishing. So it's always varnishing.
But still competitive.
Still competitive. There's been a lot of effort in the new rig, new sail wardrobe, and just refining things from 60 years of additions.
Tell us a little bit about the crew then. I mean, you've got a sort of mix here of newcomers, bit of experience on board here as well?
We have a pretty stable crew, our race crew. We've managed to retain our navigator from 2 years ago. We've got a whole mix, professional foredeck, a total of 14 from all through Europe, France, England, Malta and New Zealand, and Italy of course. So it's a good mix. Yeah. Keeps everybody on their toes.
I like that. Looking forward to seeing her in action.
Thank
you. Joe Lacey, hello, welcome to you on Midnight Blues. New to the Fastnet scene, of course. Just tell me a little bit about what made you want to be here. What's attracted you and to this boat in particular for this Fastnet race?
Well, the boat was launched just over 4 weeks ago, so it's really brand new. But both Jean-Hugues and I have done quite a few Fastnets before, so it's not a new race for us. For us, it's been a bit of a non-stop trying to get the boat ready in time. We've done, I think, 4 races in the last 4 weeks and a little bit of training as well. But we're really happy to be here. I think we're in good shape. We have a great boat, and it's now up to us to sail it to its full potential.
Yeah, it's one extreme to the other really here, isn't it? And with that in mind, it's quite hard to prepare them, because you're constantly learning with a boat like this. Has there been anything so far that surprised you, any kind of key learning moments that you've had already?
It's a new generation of boat design for IRC two-handed sailing, and it's lighter and more powerful than the older boats, with a higher rating as well. So certainly the speed downwind and reaching is fantastic, and any breezy conditions or reaching conditions really suit us well. We're still learning how to sail upwind properly. We're better than we were 3 weeks ago, but I'm sure we're not at 100% yet.
Looking at the course then, is there any particular part of the Fastnet course that you think actually the Pogo RC's agility in this case will really shine?
Yeah, I think the current forecast has a little bit of reaching along the south coast of the UK, which is great for us. And the way back from the Fastnet rocks, BMG downwind, which suit us as well. And the more wind there is, the better from our standpoint for that part of the race.
And you do want to be competitive in this, but I mean, what's your primary goal for this Fastnet? Is this about just gaining that bit of speed? You're talking about gaining experience, or just giving her a good run out?
Well, I don't think. It's such a new boat. I don't think we're not favourites here. But in terms of the IRC two-handed class, we've still got a chance, and we'll give it everything we've got. And we'll do as well as we can. The aim for us as well is to do a transatlantic race in April next year, sailing with two-handed. And so, if we can get through the Fastnet unscathed, then we're already in good shape in terms of the preparation for that race.
Well, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing her in action. And Nicole Emmerich, thank you very much for joining us as well, skipper on Rourke Griffin. And let's talk a little bit about the Rourke Griffin Fund, I think, because it is really important. This is about creating the next generation of offshore sailors. I mean, this is obviously something that's so important to you.
Yeah, so essentially the programme allows young sailors between 18 and 30 an opportunity to run an offshore campaign based out of Hamble, out of Cowes here in the Solent. And I suppose it's given us the opportunity to take part, run the campaign, build offshore experience. And so, yeah, we're very appreciative to have that opportunity and looking forward to doing this Fastnet race with the programme.
And tell me about the influence it's had on you.
Yeah, so I suppose done a decent bit of inshore racing, but never, I suppose, had the opportunity to skipper quite a big race. And I suppose in terms of, for all of us, it's building new skills, it's taking on this opportunity and making the most out of it for this year and for the future as well.
It is a remarkable initiative, but tell me about how you're feeling then ahead of tomorrow. Big smile on your face. Look at that. I mean, when you've got something like the Griffin, how does that compare to modern racers then in terms of how she handles and tactics, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it as a crew. For a lot of us, it'll be the first Fastnet race that we'll do, the longest race for most of us. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Kind of, being competitive as much as we can, and yeah, really taking the learnings of the season so far and bring them into this race.
What sort of learnings then? How are you preparing the crew, the boat, for, let's be honest, the physical demands of this race?
Yeah, so we came together as a crew 5 months ago, so there's been a lot of building the crew around in terms of what positions we're taking on the boat, and in terms of, I suppose, how we change from different previous boats that we've sailed on before. So for all of us, it's something slightly new, but looking forward to it.
What's your hope then? I feel like you're a big smile on your face, but you're being very coy. I know you're competitive.
Yes, but yeah, no, we're looking forward to getting through it as a crew, and building on the season we've had so far.
Well, good luck. And that takes us nicely to Richard Matthews now, with a wealth of experience, the most capped Rolex Fastnet race entry. I mean, how are you feeling? This is just old hat to you now at this point, isn't it?
Not at all. I'm looking forward to this race with the same enthusiasm as the very first race.
How do you, and I mentioned this earlier to Pip, at this point in your career, I mean, how do you stay motivated? And it's obviously a love for sailing that it all comes down to.
Well done, Sherlock. Yes, I love sailing. It's a life for me, and I love sailing. It's a joy. It's the spirit of the sport. I love it, and that's why we're here. We've been privileged to sail several different boats in recent years. Last year we raced my 12-metre and the Med. Couldn't be more different. But we just love to be here. It's a privilege to be able to take part in this race, and thankfully I'm still fit enough and have the enthusiasm and the fire to want to do it.
Because you have that enthusiasm, you do have that fire, but has anything changed? What has evolved for you in terms of how you do prepare and how you do look at a race?
Well, the boats are terribly different from where we started. This is a big dinghy, effectively, and it's got to be sailed like a big dinghy along with all the other competitive 50-footers, and we know how to do that. And so it's very different. Weight is critical. The way the boat's set up, there's always more speed to find. With these modern boats, there's always a little bit more speed to search for the whole time, and hopefully that's part of the game.
Yeah, in terms of Oystercatcher 35 then, what makes this so well suited for the Fastnet in particular?
Well, she's very typical of several modern boats. The boat is pretty fast off the wind in a breeze, and that's her strong point for sure. But in every other way, we're lined up with the TP52s. We're a little different from them. Potentially, we should be a little faster. That remains to be seen. It just depends on the conditions, and it's going to be a race of mixed fortune. The weather is all over the place. My wife is doing her first Fastnet, and I said this is a Goldilocks forecast, so let's enjoy it.
Well, go on, tell me about what the conditions then, the conditions you're hoping for in terms of the weather, because this is obviously going to be so important for Oystercatcher in particular. What does she thrive in?
Well, she thrives in is a reach to the Fastnet in 20 knots and a reach back. We're not going to get that, and it's going to be a tactician's challenge, I think. There's a lot of fluff in the forecast. There's a lot of wind shifts coming, and it's going to be a race for tacticians, rolling the dice, and they're going to be winners and losers on the tactics. Hopefully we'll do our best, but there is an element of throwing the dice with this. The forecast is quite fluffy, I think, but we'll see. We'll look at it 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and it'll be different from what it is now.
That is very, very true. And finally, before I let you go, I want to know if you have any advice for Nicole. Because, first time doing it, for anyone who's first time.
It's difficult. The advice I'd give is our goal is in 3 equal parts. Come ashore safely, enjoy the race, all of it, and do the very best we can. That's what I would say is everybody's goal. It certainly is ours, and I'd pass that on.
Very well said. And speaking of first times, it's the first time for our next guest here as well. Yiğit Oralu, welcome. Lovely to have you here.
Hi, welcome.
We understand this is going to be the first all-Turkish crew here on the Fastnet. It does feel like you're representing your country in a way.
Yes, it's exactly like that, and we are honor of to be here and racing in Fastnet in.
And it has had a massive impact back home, hasn't it? I mean, you've been making headlines.
Yeah, we did actually. We have a story. Actually, I came here in Solent 2005, first time, and I really love here. And sailing is very, very different from the Mediterranean, and it's such a different sailors here and sailing conditions, and tides and winds changes. And I really love here, and after that one it was a passion for me for just to be here and just racing around here. And also it was a big challenge for us because on board we have 8 Turkish people. Nobody did Fastnet before. It's gonna be first time for everybody on the board. It's passion for us actually.
Why is that? Why the Fastnet in particular? Why is it such a dream? Why has it been a passion?
Because there's many stories about that. Some movies, some YouTube videos, and also there's many books about Fastnet races. That's the reason I think you can find many stories about that, and also people are telling stories about the racers, telling stories about Fastnet. And it's very different, and I think this is the most challenging race in the world for offshore races. A lot of differences in that race. That's the reason I think we are just right down at the bucket list, and we are here now.
How do you prepare then? How do you assemble that crew? How do you prepare them for the very unique challenges that the Fastnet will present?
Actually, I have a sailing school in Istanbul with my partners, and we know many people passion for sail racing. And for example, in the crew, half of them they're my friends from my childhood and from our sailing club. And later, just we think about why we should not be there, and we can race in Fastnet, and maybe if we luck, we can win.
I like the confidence here. That was my next question then. What is the goal? I mean, is it winning? Is it finishing strong? Is it setting a new benchmark? Is it kind of creating a legacy?
Actually, we are not planning to push hard because it's going to be the first Turkish team, and we have to see the finish line, and we have to finish the race, I think. Our first goal is finish the race, actually.
Well, good luck.
Thank
we
you.
will be watching. I'm excited to see what you can do. And finally, last but not least, Tim Goodhue, who helms Core. Look, this is going to be, again, highly competitive. We're expecting over 80 two-handed entries this edition, which is a huge number. What way does that leave your mindset then? You hungry for it?
Yes, certainly hungry for it. It's a super competitive class, the double-handed class. You know, with the exception of the new designs coming in with the sort of higher ratings, for the past sort of 5 years, we've been all in a very narrow band of sort of performance. So the racing's been really tactical, and you know, you make a mistake, it will get punished quite quickly. So it's, yeah, we're definitely hungry for it, but we know that, you know, we've chatted about the weather a lot today, but it's so variable. I think that there will be mistakes out there that we just need to try and not make.
Yeah, it's interesting when you speak to anyone who does the two-handed racing, they describe it as the only way to race. Why is that? What's the appeal?
It is, I don't know whether it's the only way to race, but it's certainly, for me, it's the most immersive way of racing these races. You know, even from before the race even starts, it's basically the two of you doing most of the prep and thinking, and then in the race itself, you're doing all of the strategy, all of the navigation, all the tactics, as well as all the boat handling, all of the boat speed stuff. It's totally engaging. So yeah, it's not the only way to do these races. I think some of the Admiral's Cup boats are proving that it looks amazing, but in terms of as an individual being immersed in the sport, I think it's just so good.
In terms of this course too, I mean, what part of the Fastnet course do you think will really play to Cora's strengths?
Well, light wind beating and heavy wind running, but I don't think we're going to get any of the latter. So I think we'll be trying to cling on to Joe's boat across the across Lyme Bay if we're reaching. But from then on, I think, you know, we are, like so many boats, we are quite an all-round design. I guess our weak point is heavy airs reaching, but in most other kind of conditions we can hold our own, I think.
You think? I'm not sure I would put that down to confidence, would you? But I like it, not showing your hands. We're going to take some questions now from the gathered press and from the audience, but first of all, once again, please put your hands together for our panel here this afternoon. Okay, so if we have any questions from the floor, once again, please raise your hand. Once again, sir, we'll get the microphone over to you.
A question for Richard. You've obviously got this incredible sort of legacy with the race, going back 25 editions. What are your memories of the sort of best and worst, if you don't mind, races?
No, well, I suppose the best one that I remember was sailing my 3/4 tonner SJ35. Went round the rock. There was no tracking or anything then. We called in and they said, Oyster Catcher X, your position is first in class, first in fleet. And that felt pretty good. And we did get robbed at the end because we kedged a mile from the finish and finished up with a single figure place overall and a class win. Worst, I suppose, you've got to say the 79 Fastnet. We lost a lot of friends. We always have a 1 minute silence on our boat before the start, remembering those people.
Very well answered. If we have any other questions from the floor, yes, once again, we'll pass the microphone over to you. Thank you.
Hi, it's Ian. I first saw Storm Vogel in the 60s when she came into Auckland for a refit after 140,000 miles. Do you know how many miles she's done, racing miles she's done since then, and how much of the original boat is left?
Wow, good question.
Racing miles, I'm not entirely sure, but it's been talked about overall miles, likely over 1 million now. So she's been around. Sorry, the second part of the question?
What Pete?
Oh, the keel's original. Pedestal, structurally about 35% of the structure's original. Yeah.
With that in mind, how difficult is that kind of trying to keep to the classic roots that she has, of course, while trying to, as we said earlier, remain competitive amongst today's fleet?
One of the big things with rebuilding the boat was maintaining the structural integrity, but keeping it in the original form. Original fastenings, copper and bronze, keeping all stringer and rib structure in the same fashion, because it's a bit of a unique structure in the way she's done. Cold moulding's fantastic, but it does take a long time to repair. It's very labour intensive. But also keeping the spirit of the boat inside in the interior. So there's a lot of effort put into that, and she still feels like the same boat, I've been told.
Great question. Have we got any more questions from the floor? Yes, to this lady just over here. Thank you, and just introduce yourself.
Amelia Vase from the Magenta Project. It's awesome to see so many young teams and also more women out in the dock, and there's been the new rule introduced to get more people, young people involved. How have you guys all seen this change happening? I think also the importance for like countries like Turkey seeing these rules come in. Richard, how have you seen this change happen over decades?
Well, it's great to see more young people getting into the sport. And we've got a crew here, 7 out of 8 crew girls, fantastic. I think it's a great move forward to have young people and girl sailing especially, girl power, can't beat it.
Nicole, I have to put this to you as well. I mean, because it's so important, and we can't underplay this at all. I mean, because it has taken work, it has taken initiatives, and it is so important for any young girl, any young woman watching any of these races to be inspired to be the next generation.
Yeah, you're so right. It is very important. And I suppose our approach this season really has been that, you know, we get onto the boat and then we're all there as sailors. We're putting our best foot forward, trying to be competitive and giving it our all. And I suppose, yes, it is then an opportunity for other people to see that and hopefully take from that.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it. Thank you very much once again to our panel this afternoon. Give them a massive round of applause. And we wish you all good luck to all of our sailors who have appeared here today. And just a quick reminder, it all begins tomorrow, doesn't it? Join myself and a cast of star sailors and experts live from 11 o'clock BST on the Royal Ocean Racing Club's YouTube and Facebook page as we take you through every single twist and turn and drama of this historic start. Until then, we look forward to your company as the Rolex Fastnet race turns 100 years. For now, I'll say goodbye. Bon fin de journée. À plus tard.
It's an experience like no other experience around here.
We're all part of that history. We're part of an ongoing story.
It's like a siren call. It just draws us back.
It's a call, it's a fight to survive. Out there it is a jungle, it's hard, but I'm free, there's no bar.
I remember as a kid first hearing about this race, and I thought it was so challenging and I would never have a chance to do it.
It's iconic for all yachtsmen all around the world.
Going around that rock is going to be a pretty magical moment for everyone.